My name is Beto da Silva. I was born in Brazil, but in Brazil everyone call me Beto Motax.
One more time, Beto Motax.
Beto Motax. That's always my business in Brazil.
What was it like growing up in your hometown? Tell me about your family, your mum and dad, your schooling. What was it like?
Grew up in my family was pretty tough. My dad is pretty hard working, he's working the farm, and we got a big family. Like we were eight.
Did he own the farm or his
No,
labourer?
No, he worked for somebody.
Yep.
We walk 1.5 hours every morning, every afternoon. 1.5 hours to get to the farm, and 1.5 hours to get back home.
How did you get to the farm?
Walking.
Walking.
Yeah, we didn't have any donkey, we didn't have any push bike, we didn't have any transport.
And what was the work at the farm? What exactly were you doing?
With this corn or beans and wheat, and we had pepper, the paddocks for the next crop and all that, got everything pretty much.
So that was his job, and you did that job as well?
Yep.
From what age?
7.
From 7?
Yeah, me and past the other brother. The 3 other brothers, so we will do every day, week.
And how much does a 7-year-old earn for working?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nah.
Why are you there if you're not being paid?
Because that's the ways I was. You need to help your father to get some food, get some money, can bring some food home, and yeah.
So that what you and your brothers collected was given to your father, and that became part of his wage.
Yep,
yeah.
That's exactly right.
Were you going to school as well?
You went to do school. I finished year 5. Back then, my mom and dad separated, and I have to choose or do work or go to school. So yeah, I went to work at the butcher when I was 8 years old.
Gosh.
Get up Saturday morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I walk for half hour to get to the butcher, and work to Saturday morning to 1 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock on Sunday morning. And
Monday, the butcher?
At the butcher.
What were you doing at the butcher?
Oh, just kill the bull, cow, pig, chickens, whatever needed to be done. So we used to do all that.
You were 8?
Yeah.
Did you use a knife? Did you cut the
meat?
meat?
We use a knife.
Fair
yeah, we learned a lot of things, and after that I worked for 4 years, and I got sick on the boss, and said, well, I have enough, and I talked to my mate. I said, what do you want to do? And he said, well, if you leave, I will leave. And
so you were really on the streets from a certain.
I was on the street. My mom and dad left the house.
Yes. And then you were in the house by yourself?
By myself.
Okay, with your brothers, with your siblings?
This by myself.
Oh, okay.
I'll just sleep in a very slow matching in the floor, in the concrete floor. But my good friends live 2-3 minute walk across the road. I was go there. I have a breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
And his daughters always wash my clothes and stuff.
Now, when I think of someone in a house by themselves, I think of a house like we're in right now, with a lounge room and a kitchen and a few bedrooms. Well, what was that house?
Because back there, the house I was built by mag, like use it. All the wall was timber and mag, didn't have any bricks or anything. Yeah. And we used to have, to cook, we use a fire to cook. So I don't want to start the fire. Because I have to go collect the wood, and I didn't want to do that. So my friend, before my mom left everything, I went to speak to my friend and say, "Nah, you're right. You just come here, eat and that. Doesn't matter. We got 5 kids. Doesn't matter one more. We'll be able to feed you as well." But it was interesting life.
Yeah. Did you think of yourself as poor at the time, or are you just?
Oh, I was poor at the time anyway.
Did you know that, or?
Yeah, I did know.
This is just life and normal.
Oh, I didn't know, because my dad was an alcoholic, so he didn't like the kids overall, like he didn't let us play soccer, he didn't let us have any funny.
Right.
So that's the reason I said to my mom, if you guys separate and you go to Pacific where my mom living there, And say it's a big city compared to where you are. Because we live a population 300 people. And I say, oh, probably less, Mel? Yeah, probably less, probably 200 people. And say, what I do there? It'll be no straight, you know. Like in here, I can work, I can go to the farm, I can play on my friend and my cousin this next door. And she said, but you can't stop. I say, I can. I don't want to go. You go, I'll be fine. So yeah, so after the bush, after I left the bush and
I'm thinking of you as a 20-year-old back then, but you're making all these decisions as a young boy.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10 years of age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did, and I feel glad today, and I have, you know, what I done. If you're back again, I'll do again.
Yeah.
Not be any issues for me.
So was it unsafe to be around your father?
Yeah, it was unsafe anyway, and my father. Yeah. Back there, we have a very tough life next my dad. That's why I don't care about anything. I spent long time before I speak to my father. But the last holiday, Mel said to me, oh, you know, as your father, you have to talk to him.
Yeah.
And say, well, I don't have to. Mel said, but as your father, you know? And my older brother say, you know, you can't give the bad back what people give to you, you know. He's still our father. I went to a lot of things in my life, you know, but I learned the way it is the life. You're happy today, tomorrow you're sad, and the next day you'll be happy again. And it just keep going, you know, like, yeah, that's pretty good.
You left school at year 5.
Yeah.
But the things that you learnt in life by working in all those environments and your family and the decisions you had to make, you had to grow up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel happy.
Yeah.
You know, I feel, you know, like the people where I come from and where I am there, you know, this feel great, you know, this don't have to complain for anything, you know. Yeah.
So now you've made this big decision to leave where you were to go to the beach, to work alongside your brother, selling bikinis along the beach. You know, we've all seen those people who walk along selling different things in different parts of the world.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And but your brother was a bit lazy and you were the hard worker.
My brother come home on Friday evening to a party. And back there I left to the farm. I was with my mom and he said, oh, do you want to come to the weekend? And I said, well, yeah, I can. But how do me get back, you know? And he said, I'll bring you back after the weekend. So anyway, I went to Pipa in 99.
Pipa Beach.
Pipa Beach before New Year's. And next morning I hear someone knocking the door. And I just went off the door, that's why he's boss. And they're looking for him. And I said, oh, he's not here, he went to work. And he said, who are you? I said, I'm this Erinald brothers. And he said, I need help. And I said, well, yeah, but I can't take my brother's job. And he said, yeah, that's the reason I asked you. He said, he have to go on me, but he's already left to work. He's lazy, you know, like he doesn't want to do. And he said, do you want to do? I said, oh, I guess I can help you for today. And he said, all right, we go have a break and I have to go to the beach. And I didn't matter about the beach. And he said, you know, you can get the bus back to Pipa, or we can walk in the edge of the beach, up to you. And I say, all right, we go. But when I get there, he's got all these massive bags, you know, like heavy.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you have to take this to the beach. And I'm just thinking, oh yeah, probably be all right. But we walk in the edge of the beach, but to get there is about 130 for his strap.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, well, that's a bit hard. He said, no, it'll be all right. So to go there is all right. In the morning, perfect. But when it come in the afternoon to go up, I feel the hard work. And when I get home, this guy gave me $10 back there in 99. And he said, can you help me again tomorrow?
Was that $10 for the day?
For the day.
Was that more money than you had seen before?
Yep.
So you thought, oh, this is pretty good.
So I said to him, he said, do you come help me again tomorrow? I said, oh, yeah, that's okay, but you have to talk to my brother first. I said, what my brother think? So and he said, now you talk to your brother and you let me know. I said, all right, when he's get home, I'll talk to him and I'll let you know after. So when my brother come home, I said, at least the guy's name called God. I said, oh, God asked me to help here, but that's your job. And my brother said, at least I'm too busy. If you want to do, you can do. I said, but I can help if he give me the job. And my brother said, you can live on me. You stay and have to back to Pacifica, you know. I was back to God, and I said, God, yeah, it's fun for my brother, but if I come in, can you just pay me in the end of the week? And he said, yeah, but he said, but I demand for the bus. I said, yeah, you give to me. Back there, $1.50 to the bus. So he give me $3 every morning. And I said to him, but whatever, if I walk, you still give me the $3. And he said, I don't care what you do, $3. I'll give you $3 every morning. If you want to come in the bus, up to you. If you want to walk, as you owe $3. I don't care what you do. And I say, all right. So every morning I'll go in here in the car, and we'll set up everything, and I walk in the beach. So I save the $3 every day. Because the other part of the day I just work in the garden and I'll help do stuff in the garden. In the end of the week, he's give me $80. And he said to me, there, you'll be able to help me? You got the job. I said to him, yeah, I will.
Yes.
And he said, but why? I said, because I tell you what, I do work in the farming. For the whole month, I don't have any day off. And I get paid $10.
Yeah, for a whole month.
For the whole month.
Yeah.
And he said, you joke? I said, nah. He said, what do you do in the farm? I said, I can milk the cow, I can feed the cow, I can go run the paddock. You know, I do a lot of things, you know. I can go part of the paddock, work all day, or I have to feed the chickens, or sometimes I will get up in the middle of the night, I have to go in the chicken, because the guy used to grow, you know, the chicken to sell them. And he said, my God, that's hard work. For $10 a month. I said, yeah. So I never worked there, and I went for fun cup of naughty girl and didn't work well, and I just went up my mom and said, listen, mom, nah, I don't want any more girl from Brazil. And she said, why? I said, because it's so bad. Just won't give me the crap, so I don't want any more.
Well, at this point, we better bring in your lovely wife. Hi, Mel.
Hello,
welcome to the conversation.
Ian. Thank you.
You're from Parkes.
Yes, originally from Parkes, yep.
And at some point, how old were you? You're travelling the world and you ended up in the beach in Brazil.
Yeah. I've done lots of travel. I lived overseas a fair bit prior to going to South America. I'd done lots of Europe and Asia and stuff, and then had itchy feet living in Sydney, so I thought I'll go to South America just for a year to travel around and do some volunteer work and other work, and did a bit of travel, and then kind of came to Praia da Pipa. That was just a coincidence, really, because it wasn't on my agenda, but then someone had suggested it to me, and so I thought, oh yeah, why not? So I did that.
Because the planets are aligning, because Bet's already decided that he doesn't want another Brazilian girlfriend.
Yeah, that's right.
So what happened?
Yeah, well, I was on my first night there. I wasn't organised, and so I was kind of ringing around at the last minute trying to find some accommodation, and found this hostel that had a surf school. So I stayed the night there, got there late in the night. The next morning I went to the beach with the surf school that the hostel was running. So the surf school's just it's an umbrella with, you know, surfboards, and next door to the umbrella is another umbrella, which is the bikini shop type thing, which was where Bet was. It's like this massive it's just a big massive sarong on the sand with this big pile of bikinis of all shapes and sizes. And when I say big pile, like it's tall as probably me on the sand, and this Bet's carried them down all day, every day. So he was there at the bikini place, and I was at the surf school and we just got chatting, I guess, through the day. And then I was there all day, and so we chatted on and off through the day and hung out a little bit, I guess, and then caught up. We went out that night. There was quite a vibrant nightlife. So we saw each other that night again, and then again the next day at the beach. And then you asked me out on my first date, I think, that night. He went to take me to the sunset. There's this place where you go to see the sunset. And I was still a little unsure. We were probably both a little bit unsure, but he was a motor taxi driver. And so to get to the sunset, you had to drive 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes in the taxi.
Well, the way we were always awake.
Yeah. So to this creperia that's on the edge where you watch the sunset. So we went there and it was a nice day, but then by the time we'd had something to eat and watched the sunset, it just started bucketing down with rain. And we were pretty much stranded there because we were on the motorbike. We weren't going to go back in the motorbike. We were stranded there for like 3 hours. And so we were really, because of my Portuguese, I'd done some Portuguese in a Portuguese school prior to coming to Pippa, but it wasn't that good. Bet had no English, but there was a friend of Bet's there just coincidentally. She spoke both English and Portuguese, and so she was hanging around with us, and we ended up having a really great afternoon. And it was kind of because we were there kind of together for a long time that afterwards I thought, actually, he's a really great guy. And so then we just hung out pretty much every day after that, and I was just there for a week. I was meant to only stay for a few days, but I ended up extending it for a week and continued my travels. And then we were messaging. He was sending me text messages in Portuguese, and I was going to an internet cafe and translating it in Google Translate and sending him something back. And then he'd try to call me a few times and was very difficult to understand. And then I came to the end of my travels and I was like, okay, well, I'd planned to go back to Rio de Janeiro and try to work, or will I go back to Pippa for a little while? And
I asked you to come back to Pippa.
You asked me to come back. Yeah, Bet said, why don't you come back to Pippa? And I went, okay, well, I'd already booked a flight to Rio. I thought if I can cancel it or get a postponement or whatever without it costing much money, I'll go back to Pippa, because I loved Pippa Beach. It's a beautiful place. So I did. It cost me like $20 to cancel it. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. I'll go back just for 2 weeks. I'll go back for another 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I went, oh, I'll just stay for another week. And then another week turned into another month. And then I said, well, I might as well get some work while I'm here. So I ended up working in a bar and teaching English. And then the rest is history. Yeah, the rest is history. Just never felt like leaving.
Yeah.
And so this kind of holiday romance just bloomed into, well, marriage and a couple of kids, basically.
So how long ago did you meet? What year?
2010.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was it was fun.
And then you talked him into coming to Parks, or he wanted to come. How did you already had your first child, Isabella?
Yeah, we had Isabella in Brazil. Yep. But I guess life in Brazil is tough. Like, it's a beautiful country. It's the people are lovely and friendly, but there's a lot of social injustice and a lot of things that are not fair. And you don't get. I mean, I was teaching English 4 days a week, and I was getting paid, I guess, 300 real a month. 1,000 real a month, which is about $300 a month. So, you know, we would never, if we stayed in Brazil, we would never had the money to save to come to Australia. But also security-wise, and the healthcare system and the education system, they just aren't the same as in Australia. Like, I love Brazil. It's a great place. I definitely recommend it to visit. But to live, it can be tough for some people.
I have to ask, do you say to your parents, hey mum, hey dad, I've met this guy on the beach selling bikinis, and yeah, we're getting married and we're having a child? How does that go down?
Well, they were pretty shocked because I kept pretty quiet for a fair while, especially from my parents. Not more so because I was just getting used to the idea myself, and we were just going to see how it went and all the rest of it. But then when we decided to have a child together, I was like, well, we probably have to tell Mum and Dad, and it kind of all happened quite quickly, wasn't it? We didn't expect it to happen as quickly as it did, really. And so, yeah, I think Mum and Dad were pretty shocked. So not long before we announced having a child, it wouldn't have been that long that I'd told them that, you know, Bet and I had been seeing each other for quite a while.
But now they can't be upset about
shocked.
that.
Yeah, no.
Because they're going to be grandparents.
Yeah, that's right. So
That'll be the good thing.
I think they were a bit shocked, but yeah, they were really pleased as well. So, because I had, I had put all of that type of stuff out of my head while I was travelling. I was just really like that. That's what made me happy, is travel. So yeah, but of course, when you're least expecting it and looking for it, it kind of happens. So yeah, so they were really excited about all that, but yeah, I think probably a little shocked. Yeah, so and so then we decided. Bet was, when I first met Bet, I said, oh, you don't want to speak English? And he said, why would I want to speak English? I live in the best country in the world and I just want to stay here the whole time. I was like, okay, so you never want to travel or go anywhere? No, never want to do any of that stuff. But then after a while, and I think mainly once Isabella came along, I guess he was thinking about his own childhood, and, you know, and I had told him stuff about Australia, and I guess he was thinking, you know, for Isabella, it's probably better that we live in Australia. So yeah, he was really brave and made the decision to come to Australia even without speaking English. And I actually had a rental apartment in Sydney, and I put out my resume when I was coming home, and just coincidentally, there was a job for a requirement in Sydney for a Portuguese-speaking accountant, and there wouldn't be too many of those around, but I happened to be a Portuguese-speaking accountant. It was an Australian company that was mining in Brazil, so they wanted... so I had a job lined up, we had a house lined up, we flew into Sydney, and Bet went, I hate it, I could never live here. So my plan was to live in Sydney, I had it all lined up, and Bet was like, no, this is not happening. I said, well, where will we go? And my mum and dad had come out when we had Isabella. They came and visited. That's their own little story of the volcano and all sorts of stuff, when they delays and everything. So the volcano in Chile that erupted or whatever. But anyway, that's another story. So they came out. So Bet knew Bet, my mum. He knew my mum and dad. He knew my sister and a couple of cousins. After we spent a day or two in Sydney. He hated it, but we said, well, let's go back to Parkes just for a week or two to settle, and then we'll come back to Sydney to live. Once we moved back to Parkes, he said, well, I don't want to go back to Sydney now. You have to go there on your own. I'm staying here, basically. And I said, well, what am I going to do in Parkes? I won't get a job, but again, the stars aligned, and I sent my resume out to various businesses around the town, and the mine just needed a job as an accountant. They just had someone resign like 2 days beforehand as an accountant, so I had a job within a week. And so that's Parkes. We came back to Parkes to live.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for sharing your half of the story. And I think it's wonderful to talk, not only when we think of multiculturalism, we're not just talking about people coming here from overseas. We're talking about people from Australia going overseas, meeting partners, and enriching Australia with another part of the world. And now you've got two fantastic kids who are Brazilian Aussies. So it's, and here we are with
Pippa,
who is how old?
8.
8. And Isabella, who is
10.
10. And Pippa, where were you born?
I was born here in Australia.
And Isabella?
Over in Brazil.
You were born in Brazil?
Yeah.
Okay, and your father is this wonderful man
This
over
me,
here.
that's Beto.
Beto, who we've already met. And you're on school holidays at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you get anything special for Christmas?
I got these new clothes.
Oh, lovely.
I got an art set.
What did you say?
An art set, like...
Oh, an art set.
With, like, paint and...
Okay. Is that because you like art? Or...
Yeah. I made a picture for Dad so he can put up in his shed.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Have you got it close by?
Yeah, I've got it up in my bedroom.
Oh, okay. Excellent. You might go and get it for me. Isabella, what did you get for Christmas?
I
I got some clothes and an art set and a desk and chair for my bedroom.
Oh, you're set.
Yeah.
Now, you were born in Brazil, so that means your grandparents are in Brazil. Did you go back and visit?
I don't really visit my pop that much. We only see my nan over there.
And does she live in a big city or a small town?
A small town.
Is that fun, visiting her?
Yeah, because all the cousins come over sometimes.
So you've got two homes really, haven't you? You've got your Brazil home and your Australia home.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Not many kids can say that. And maybe you can learn more and more Portuguese so you can talk with your cousins. And Pippa, what do you got?
This is a photo I made for Dad.
Wow, you did that?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for agreeing to be videoed. I just thought it was very special to have some Brazilian Aussies on film. Why should the parents have all the fun, yeah? So thank you and have a great holiday and catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.